Hello, everybody. So I think today it's time for us to dip our toes into APIs. So I've done a couple of videos showing the basics, and then after that, we started doing exercises, building demo chatbots. And I think before we move forward and start making the exercises more and more complex, I need to show you how to deal with APIs. So what is an API in the context of a chatbot? When deployed, whatever that may be, maybe on a website or integrated into an app, your chatbot runs in a bubble. The communications, the data it collects, it's all self-contained. What APIs allow you to do is make the chatbot talk to the outside world. An API is a bridge that connects your chatbot to the outside world. And that outside world could mean anything from talking to another website, integrating with another app, or sending data to servers, because an API is a two-way bridge. It allows you to send the data and it also allows you to fetch data. Now, let me be clear. With APIs, there's thousands upon thousands of options out there, different websites, different APIs. You could even go the route of coding it yourself. It is something that we could talk about for days and days. But to keep it simple, let's start with something basic but also very useful. We're going to use a popular one called Zapier, and we're going to use Zapier webhooks to store the information we collect in our chatbot into a Google Sheet. And for this demo, we're going to use the lead qualifying chatbot we built in the previous video. If you haven't watched that, I have a link in the description. Go ahead and watch that first and then go back to this video. So let's start by preparing our Google Sheet. Let's create a blank spreadsheet and then let's rename this to client list Zapier demo. So next we want to make sure we have headers for our columns. Each column represents a data point we want to collect. For this demo, let's keep it simple and let's just collect the first name and then the last name. Obviously, you could collect as much data you want, emails, phone numbers. For this demo, we're just going to do first name, last name. And that is it. You have your Google Sheet ready. Now let's go to Zapier. So we're here on Zapier. Once you've created your account, this is going to be your dashboard. And what you want to do is click on Create. Then we want to select Zaps. So let's rename this and call this Zapier Google Sheet Demo. For our trigger, click on this box which says Trigger and search for webhooks. Webhook. We'll select Webhooks by Zapier, and then here on your right for the event you want to select Catch Hook. And then we can leave this for now. Let's go to our actions and click on this box that says Action. And then we want to select Google Sheets. For the event, here are your options of the things you might want to do. For our demo, we want to create a new row. So basically, when a user fills in their information, we want to save it as a new row every time. So select on Create Spreadsheet Row. Click on Continue and we'll be taken to our account. If this is blank or says account not connected, you're just gonna have to log in with your Google account, obviously, and then click continue again. And this is where we select the Google Sheet we created a couple of moments ago. So for Drive, let's select Google Drive. That's where your Google Sheets are saved. And then for Spreadsheet, because we've connected our Google account, we can see the Google Sheet we created earlier, client list Zapier demo. So let's use that. And then the worksheet, we didn't rename it. It's just named Sheet 1, but let's just use that. And that is it for now. Let's go back to Voiceflow. So back in Voiceflow, remember this is a lead qualifying chatbot that we created. So we want to add our API call at the very end once we confirm that the user is eligible for the fitness program. So remember, here at the end, we say, congratulations, you qualify for the program, and then we start collecting information, the first name, and then the last name. So this is the part where I want to insert my API call. So before we end with a congratulations message, we need to send the data to our Google Sheet. So let's disconnect this for now. And what I want to do is after we collect the last name, let's send all the data to Zapier and Google Sheet. So let's go to Dev and select API. There you go. And let's just rename this send client info to Google Sheet. And here to the right, you have this box at the very top. Again, like I said, API is two-way communication. It's currently set to get, meaning we want to retrieve information. We don't want to do that because we're actually sending information. So click on the drop down and choose post instead. So we're sending data. So since we've already prepared our Google Sheet to have headers for the columns, we can just go straight in and use the body option here. So click the plus icon and you're going to be asked to enter a key. The key is basically a name for the variable you're sending to Zapier. So for this one, let's call it first name and then enter the value or the variable. So remember, again, if you haven't watched the previous video, if you're confused, watch that first and then just go back. So we stored the first name into a variable called user first name. That's it. And then let's add another one. Click the plus again, and then let's just call this last name. And then let's forward the variable last name. So to make this API step actually talk to Zapier, we need to go back to Zapier and then we need to click on our webhook box right here. And then you want to go to the test tab. And here you have a link. Copy this one. And then let's go back to Voiceflow. And inside of Voiceflow, you paste that URL here on this box. Paste that right there. And on Voiceflow's end, that should be it for the setup. And then we just need to reconnect the things here. So if the forwarding of the data was successful, then let's reconnect that back to our congratulations message. And then if it fails, let's just create a new message here. The typical error message. Oops, something went wrong. Let's just call this API error. And let's just have the bot end right here. So in order to keep this visually easy to follow, we need to run this section once. Again, you don't have to do this because on Zapier, you just have to remember the keys you created. But again, I want to keep this visually easy to follow, so we need to run it from here. So let's click at play, and then it's going to ask us for our name. So what's your first name? There we go. Let's just type John. Then last name, Doe. There you go. The data was successfully sent to Zapier at this point. So let's go back to Zapier. So here on Zapier, if you click on test trigger, you can now see the data forwarded from the chatbot. So our API call was indeed successful. Now we need to complete setting this up. So we need to go to our spreadsheet here and let's go to our actions tab. And then here, remember this first name and last name, this is because of the headers we created in our Google Sheet. If you have more headers for the columns, there's going to be more items here. So for the first name, because we've run a test, you can already see the data here that you could select. So let's select first name. And then for the last name, there's the Doe. And we can click continue. So next we could click on test step. So we could confirm that it's actually connected to our Google Sheet and it can write data to our Google Sheet. So let's click on test step. Wait for it. And it's done. If we go to our Google Sheet, there we go. We now have a new row with the data we've added. Let's go back to Voiceflow and then run it one more time and test another name. Let's run this from the very beginning this time, just so we can see the entire flow. I want to join the fitness program. What state you're from? One of the qualifying states would be Denver. There you go. To qualify, we need to be older than 30, so let's select 35. And then we need to be a beginner. So yes, I'm a beginner. And we're in. Let's start testing another name. Let's use Michael. Then last name, let's do Smith. And congratulations. So that's successfully forwarded to Zapier. So in order for us to complete the transfer of information, we need to go back here to Zapier and rerun the test. Now, I want to make sure this is clear. The only reason why I'm doing this way is because I'm on a free account. Once you're ready to commit to Zapier and you have a subscription for it, all you need to do is click on publish right here, and all of this process happens automatically in the background. Don't need to worry about it. But for this demo, it's a free account. In order for me to show you that it works, I need to run it in a test mode. So let's go back to our webhook right here and then click on test. And then what we can click is find new records, basically refresh. Click on find new records. And if you click on request B, there you go. We have the Michael Smith. So let's continue with the record, and we're back on our Google Sheet. Let's go to the last tab called test, and let's click retest. That is done, completed in 3 seconds. Let's go back to our Google Sheet, and there you have your name. So yeah, that's it. Our API integration works. Again, the only reason why we have to go through the hoops of retesting every time is because I'm on a free account. So again, let's do this quickly. Just one more name. So back in Voiceflow, let's just start from the very end here to save time. Then for the first name, let's put Joe. Then for the last name, let's put Biden. There you go. It is successful. Let's go back to Zapier. Let's go back to webhooks, go to test, and then let's find new records. Click on find new records. Request C, there you go, Joe Biden. Let's proceed with that data. Then let's go to test and retest. Successfully published. And if you go back to your Google Sheet, there we go. And that's it. I do hope this was easy enough to follow. I'm going to start making more API videos from here on forward, different platforms, not just Zapier, and different type of integrations, not just Google Sheets. We're going to try some Drive stuff, email stuff, all sorts of interesting things you can do with API. So if you found this helpful, do share it with people that may want to start building chatbots. And also, if you found this helpful, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. And also, if you do need help building your chatbots for your business, send us a message. Details are in the description. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.